Hi, welcome back. Have you ever been in a relationship where you were both in an argument and everything came to a standstill? There was no moving forward. I have. And I want to help you understand today how compassion can be such a powerful tool in our relationships with other people and learning to be able to work through the challenges that we face. Compassion is at the very heart of good communication and strong, healthy relationships. But compassion requires us to be able to step out of our shoes and look at life through the lens of another. And that's not always our first natural response, I'm afraid to say. Compassion is something that takes conscious effort. We have to be mindful of that. Well, I want to share with you today 3 ways that you can help develop more compassion in yourself and be aware of how to bring more compassion into your relationship so that you can enjoy the benefits of that. So the first tip is to stop focusing on yourself. That can be hard to do. I remember a few years ago, I was struggling in my marriage relationship with my husband, and I just kept thinking he should do it my way. I just kept thinking he wasn't listening to me, that he was just causing me all this stress. And I remember praying to God about it, and he listened very patiently to all my complaints. And then I heard the words, "Have you ever thought about how much stress you are causing him?" And that was not what I wanted to hear. That was not what I was expecting. And yet, no, I had forgotten about compassion. I was only seeing things from my side. And so as I pondered on that and meditated on that, I felt that to see things from his perspective, that I needed to serve him every day. I needed to be looking for his needs and see what was going on in his life and find a way to honor that, acknowledge that by serving him. And so I decided I am not going to complain about anything for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, I am only going to look at his life, look at how he's feeling, watch for his needs, serve him, and then at the end of 2 weeks, I'll have a more understanding of his life, and then I can bring the problem up. So as the days started going by, and as I started looking at what he needed and recognizing all the stress that he was carrying and seeing the burdens that he was holding on to and the things that he was willing to suffer through silently for the sake of our family, I just found more and more love and compassion for my husband, who was so selfless. And so each day I looked forward to a chance to serve him, to find a way to relieve some of his anxiety and his suffering and his challenges. And it was incredible because as the days went on, I actually could not even have told you when that 2 weeks ended. I quit keeping track. I just started appreciating my husband more and realizing that we were a team. I needed him to help me, but he needs me to help him. I need to support him. And through the eyes of compassion, I was able to find that. The second thing I want to talk about today is just this phrase that hurt people hurt people. So when somebody hurts us in our life, when they are angry and they lash out at us, or something negative like that happens, it's less about us and more about them. They are hurting in some way. And to recognize that is really powerful. It can really help you find a point of compassion. When people respond in anger, anger is actually a secondary emotion. It's not even their primary feeling. They don't just get angry. They feel something else first. Maybe they feel sad or hurt or alone or rejected. Maybe they feel out of control or insignificant. There is that feeling first. And because that state and that emotion is so vulnerable, they don't want to sit in that pain. And so they get angry. And that makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel in control. And it connects them to deeper feelings and states of being where the other emotions can be ignored. And so, to me, compassion is such a powerful tool in moments of anger, because that's not really truly what's happening. We are not the cause of the problem. It's their deeper hidden emotion that is the cause of the problem. And so instead of taking things personally or lashing back out with anger, if they are mad at you and they throw their anger at you, now you feel insignificant and you feel out of control. So you respond by sending your anger back to them, right? It's just a vicious cycle that never leads anywhere healthy or good. So if somebody reaches out to you in anger, take the time to ask. It's going to take conscious effort, but ask, what are you feeling right now? What are you so upset about? What's at the root of this? And sometimes even just looking into their eyes, you may see that anger, but when you look beyond the anger, into their heart and mind and soul, you might see those other emotions. You might see that they feel insignificant or scared or hurt or alone. And that's a great time to show up in love, truly. The last thing I want to just suggest is that you remember the golden rule. It's such a simple thing, but it's so powerful, and it's so filled with compassion. To do unto others as you would want them to do to you. I struggled with depression for 20 years of my life, and probably 15 of those years were during the first years of our marriage, or maybe the first 10 years of our marriage. And I didn't have any tools, which is why I have such a passion to share tools with you. I didn't have any tools. I didn't have anyone to reach out to. And there were many mornings that I woke up grumpy. There were nights that I went to bed not happy and not kind and just not myself. And so many times I would wake up in the morning and just feel so bad that I hadn't been happier for my husband, or hadn't been more of a support or a cheerful person in his life. And so I would apologize and say, I'm so sorry that I was kind of grumpy last night. And he would look at me and say, you were grumpy? I didn't notice. And then he'd wink. And of course he'd notice. I have such big energy. If I was grumpy, you can probably feel it in the next city. I'm just very human that way. I feel emotions very deeply and very big. And so I know that he noticed. But you know what? He knew I was struggling. He knew I was trying to find answers. He knew I wasn't acting that way to hurt him or affect him. And in his compassion, in his grace, he extended mercy, love, forgiveness, understanding. He allowed me to be human. And I've always been so grateful to him for that. He's such a sweetheart. And so I hope these 3 tips can help you to stop focusing on yourself, to look beyond the anger and the unkind behavior, and with compassion, see what's really going on in that person's life. And to follow that golden rule and treat other people how you would want to be treated yourself. So, if you're struggling, I have something exciting I want to offer you. In our library at the Wholeness Network, we have a whole bunch of beautiful guided meditations to help you through problems just like this. So if you want to click on the link below, it will lead you to my meditation called Compassion and Grace. And you can follow along with me as I help you walk through the opportunity to apply compassion in a relationship you're struggling with. I hope your results are fabulous, that you find peace and joy, and that opportunity to show compassion and release any negative feelings will help you live life whole. Thank you so much for joining me.